Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of. I almost said what's brewing with Dakota Crowd, but no, that's not what we're doing today. Today, we're introducing a new author that is with Mountaindale that I am super excited about. His name is Greg Tolley, and he writes The Undying Alchemist. So that I should say that's book one. The Undying Immortal system, I believe it is. Man, I'm just going to bring this up because it's really pretty. Hi, Greg. Welcome. My background died on me. There we go. The Undying Alchemist is book one. I'm super thrilled by this. I'm so excited that I am just over here, like, shaking with excitement to be able to introduce this to everyone. So this is the one of the stories on Royal Road. This is where I first found you. That every time I see a chapter pop up, I would just jump in there, and I was so excited. And I was reading it, and I was saying, "Wow, man, this guy has to have all sorts of plans for the future, all this other stuff." And I'm like, man, I really hope that when I reach out to him, he's going to say, "Yeah, we can have a conversation about publishing, maybe. Yeah, we can." Yeah. And you got on, and you were just so awesome to talk to, so much fun that it became something that I was really thrilled when I kind of floated the idea of working together, and you said yes. So I just wanted to thank you for that to start you out. So the Undying Immortal system is, to me, I'll read this what I wrote down. So it's not a tale of instant power. So this is a utterly fantastic cultivation novel, and with some very light lit RPG elements woven in. And it's persistence, it is patience, it is the relentless pursuit of perfection in not just one craft, but across a whole bunch of them. And so for me, it was like following along was just witnessing this guy, Su Fang, just growing unstoppably. That was a really cool. That was a really cool thing. He just went from this outsider who didn't even speak the language, moving onward and becoming this unstoppable force that is rolling into bigger and bigger challenges. And not because like it was handed to him, but because he's earned it one life at a time. And so I think it's really cool to watch the satisfying progression of cultivation in what I look at as the most intricate and well-made cultivation system that I have seen to date. And so with that, I will actually let you say a few words too, instead of just being excited to have you here. Yes. So welcome, Greg.
Well, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I can't really take personal credit for the cultivation system there. Basically, I just read a whole lot of probably unhealthy amount of cultivation stories from Chinese writers. Let's just take it all and extract the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really did that, man. You distilled that down. It's almost like you took all these different concepts and put them in this alchemy cauldron and refined them into and so that kind of plays a little bit obviously into the actual book here is The Undying Alchemist. And so what is it about alchemy specifically that drew you in? Because I would say what are you at, like book 5, 6 out on Royal Road currently? Six. Yeah, book 6. And like I'm still like reading there as it pops up just to make sure I have what is the newest stuff, right? Like book 1 is coming out and I'm looking at book 6. I'm like, man, this is so good. But I love that remains a consistent element throughout. What are you at now? 1 million pages, something like that?
Probably,
right?
A million words.
Oh, easily. Oh, that, yeah. I'm saying, yes, that makes a lot more sense. It has been a long day. My 2-year-old was up at like 4:30 this morning, so sorry if I'm a little off. But yes, about like over 1 million words, I think, at this point, and it has maintained this core consistency where that is always cropping back up, and yet it remains fresh. And I'm like, how did you come up with this as the core concept, or what drew you to alchemy specifically?
Well, I guess the answer is nothing. If I want to be honest, my original idea was a book called Journal of the First Immortal. And I was going to have this guy who's a kind of a mid-level cultivator. We call Marshall King.
Mm-hmm.
He was focused on formations, and he creates a formation that ends up killing him, and then he gets back and relives his life. So it's going to be focused on formations.
Okay.
But then I was like, well, this will work for people who understand the cultivation genre. They know all the tropes, but it's not going to work for anyone I know, any of my family, friends. They're not going to get it. Sure. So let's start over, start from the beginning. And I wanted to create something that everybody could enjoy. So I just started, and I started writing, and I got to a choice where he has to make a choice between like which professions he's going to pursue. And I was like, okay, well, in this situation, which makes sense? Which one makes sense? And to me, it was alchemy. So like, okay, he's an alchemist now.
Cool.
And, yeah, it wasn't kind of a plan from the beginning. It's just something that kind of, to me, was organic into the story.
And honestly, it has, if you wouldn't have said that, I would have never known, because it is so well done. Like that, it feels like, how long have you been writing this story now?
I guess I started February of last year, so year and a half.
It feels like a multi-year planned out thing because of just how careful and meticulous it has been every step of the way. So it's really neat to hear that, man. Like I'm over here taking notes most of the time when I'm going through this. And someone was asking me today, they said, "Hey Dakota, is it like a punny book?" And I said, "No, but it's really funny and it makes me laugh a lot." And they're like, "Done." And I was like, "Wait a second. What if I would have said yes?" Cool. Real quick, I want to say hi to some people that popped in. We have about 20 live viewers already. So thank you guys so much for coming in and saying hello. So first to Sergio, hello. Ethan, Aaron Walker, is that Les? Hi, Les. And Sergio is like reading through right now. He's saying, Amber Hitzgrath says, "I'm excited to start reading it." Jacob Ward, man, thank you guys so much for coming in here. And Missbound, ooh, hi Missbound. So many people coming in and saying hello right now. So it's really, really exciting. Sergio says, "I'm betting Undying Formation Master will be a future book." That'd be pretty fun. Yeah, so lots of people very excited to see this. Lots of people having a ton of fun with it. Before we go any further, I have a hard stop at 8 tonight because I get to do some other fun stuff with authors later. I'm sorry, 8:30 Central Time. And so I wanted to get the duck race going, if that's okay with everyone here. So we had the most ducks sold for this event out of anyone. So we had something like 1.5 million ducks sold. And I will admit, 1 million and one of those was one person, and like 46,000 was another person. That's okay because they still count only as one. So let's add that to the stage real quick, just to take a look at. Hang on a second. We gotta set that. There we go. So we have a full 1,000 people on the list. So it's going to be a quite intensive duck race when it does get going here. So let's get that started so that we have that right as time ends. So just so everyone knows, this is how we're going to be picking names tonight. So this is going to be our name generator going forward for cool events and giveaways and things that we do of this nature. And so tonight we have 1,000 potential people who will be able to get a one of 10 free audio codes from Audible. So here we go. All right, go Ducks. So if you see your name in there, please leave a comment, do something fun, and we'd love to see it. So if you got a duck, definitely keep an eye out. All right, so that's fun. Just kind of going on in the background now.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So with this, I've seen a lot of shifts and changes with your magic system. because it's really cool. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but it's really cool to see how it does progress. What what would you say was the motivator that had you pick this particular magic system? So it's mostly cultivation with hints of lit RPG, with the system kind of going on in the background. Like, what was it about this that drew you to it?
Well, I mean, I guess again, it started with an idea that was pretty much pure cultivation. No lit RPG element, and not really a time loop, just a one-time reversion.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was like, okay, well, I want to make this accessible.
Sure.
I want to make this something that everybody can do it. So I need the main character to start from nothing. It's like, okay, well, he has to build. So let's add in a simple system. And well, cultivation worlds are crazy, so let's do a time loop. And so it just kind of built from there.
Sure.
It's more of a, what do I need?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what we do.
I know it was a ton of fun for me to be able to witness the cultivation world and in its full brutality. Like, that was a ton of fun. Like, normally with cultivation specifically, you get one try, and so you really have to be like the most OP MC in order just to survive, like going like a mile outside of where you spawn in that world, in a cultivation. And so it was really fun to see what it looks like, basically starting as a mortal, there we go, and kind of working your way up ever so slowly toward that peak of power, and then just seeing all of the different bottlenecks where people are running into issues, and how their cultivations deviate, and all of this other stuff. I'm sorry, I'm really taking this over. I really am thrilled about this book. And so it is, it feels super organic because of that, because you know that he can make really intensive mistakes that have really long lasting consequences, and then still be able to like learn and grow from it. Unlike, yeah. So sorry. So I just kind of questioned and answered myself there. Sorry about that.
Well, I'll just add to that like that again wasn't necessarily where I was going for at first. I'm glad it happened, but also of I like the idea. So I read all these cultivation stories, and you have the main character, and they all hit a lot of the same beats. Mm-hmm. And one of the beats that always kept coming up was the main character would go to this store and the people in charge of the store would try to recruit him, but well, you can't do that, because if he does that, it derails the entire story and you don't have your power curve. Mm-hmm. So one question I had, what if he does it? What happens when he joins that store, and what happens here? And that's one of the things I was excited to explore was, what about all these other people in the cultivation world that we never see? Mm-hmm. Like, you have the main character, but he has to be on his power fantasy. What about all the people who can't be on that power fantasy? And that's one of the things I like that this allowed me to explore, was these other the non-main characters of those cultivation stories and their experiences.
Absolutely. Like, and just kind of seeing how cultivation has effects, physical and mental, and how that can really impact the storyline. Is like, hey, you want to be in a combat sect, you want to be in a merchant guild, you want to be in a crafter thing, and all of these different avenues that you're able to go through. And it's really fun to watch as you're going through, and you're like, wow, this is an opponent, and they're just terrible people doing terrible things. And then he makes a different choice and kind of ends up on their side. And you're like, oh no, they were right the whole time. Right. It's super cool to see how you intermix that and how you play that. So I'm just over here fangirling. So yeah. So what do you see when you look at your books? What do you see as the experience that your readers are going to be having as they read through this novel?
Well, one of the questions I asked my people on Discord, we were talking about the tags to put on Royal Road. And one question should I tag this as slice of life? Because to me, that's what it really is. It's kind of a slice of life for a cultivator.
Yeah.
And slice of life for what is a slice of a cultivator's life? It has the killing, it has the crafting, it has the, and that's kind of what it is. It doesn't really fall under what people think of as slice of life. Like it doesn't have the deep kids and relationship stuff, but it's more, what does it mean for a cultivator? What is the life of a cultivator? And that's, I think, what I'm trying to show.
Absolutely. And it's really cool to see what is the like average life of a cultivator, or what is the life of an average cultivator, low end cultivator, and eventually what is the life of, you know, like a highly respected, sought after cultivator, and then return to like you like return and are able to make different choices based on that. And you do a really fantastic job of tracking those change points, like where you're like, hey, all right, this is going to happen here, and then I'm just going to go back. And I haven't ever found a major continuity error ever. And even if I'm like, oh, maybe this, it's like, no, it's because that person just kept on traveling instead of being impacted like they would have been. And so it's tracked super well. Do you do all of that yourself currently, or do you have like a lot of fans who jump in, or do you have like a team in the background? Because you know, I've heard tell that you seem to be a bit of a doppelganger to another extremely famous author.
No,
so Greg, I gotta know, are you secretly also Brandon Sanderson?
You know, if I had if claiming to be Brandon Sanderson gave me his viewership and his money, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, I've never seen you and Brandon Sanderson in the room at the same time.
Well, I've never seen Brandon Sanderson in the room, so.
Okay. Good. Very cool. Well, let's see. Well, I know that with just talking about Brandon Sanderson, who is, you know, has done a lot for fantasy genre as a whole. When you look at your magic system and your progression system, one of the things I love are like the Sanderson laws of magic. And one of the things I like in there is that magic has to have a cost, and has to have a serious cost, right? Like, what would you say as your characters are moving through your world? Would you say that there is a heavy associated cost with each thing that they're doing that makes it worth doing? I know that was a little bit all over the place. My bad.
I'm not entirely sure. There is costs, both. How to say this without spoiling too much? There is a lot of cost associated with it, and the person who bears that cost is not always the same. It's not always a cost to the person using the magic, I should say.
Interesting. Okay. So some deferred cost, or putting the, like, doing the thing, but making someone else pay for what you're doing. Oh, yeah. I like that. That's fun.
Making feeding on others to grow your power in the I would say the most brutal of ways sometimes, in true Xinsha fashion.
Perfect. And you actually properly know some Chinese, correct?
Yeah, well, that's debatable, but I spent several years trying to learn it.
Okay, yeah, because just kind of a little bit talking about, you know, sorry, I'm so focused on the book because it is so much fun. But like what kind of background do you have with reading, like with all of this, with cultivation, with just kind of this more Eastern style culture? Like, is there anything that you wanted to share about that at all? I'm not sure.
I don't know what people are interested in, but 15 years ago or so, I went through what they call the four great Chinese novels, which is Journey to the West, Outlaws of the Marsh, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Dream of the Red Chamber was not available at that time, but
Sure.
those are the major Chinese novels. Shortly after that, I moved to China and started teaching English over there.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of improve my Chinese, I started reading these podcasts that were like very simple Chinese lessons about mythology and stuff of associated with China. Then I started reading all the Xinxia, and all that just kind of bundled together in what I'm trying to present. So, like one of the later books, a lot of Outlaw of the Marsh influences come into the later books, where we visit Mount Liang and have some rebel situations going on there, and that's a lot of that's drawn from those books.
Gotcha. Cool, man. And that's really cool. And I love how it does. I'm gonna take down the duck race just for a moment, because there's one thing I wanted to point out. Present an invite. All right. Based on what you were saying, window, Chrome tab, this one. This. So for anyone who's wondering, so the second book is already available on for pre-order on Amazon and Audible, The Waterflower. And so there's a lot of really cool things that I want to point out that I'm not going to, but really cool thing about these covers is that they are designed, like Greg really came in and he said, hey, like, here's this cool thing with the culture of things that are going on. Here's the cool things with just like iconography and symbology. And if we can make these happen when people notice them or when they see them, it's going to make a lot of sense. And so just the actual attention to detail to pull the culture in as well, I think is really cool. And when people look for it, and especially when they know of it, they're going to be like, man, that just absolutely spot on. Like, fantastic covers that really represent, really well represent the book, the culture. Are you saying Shinsha?
Yeah, Xinsha.
So that's the actual proper way to say it, because I always said Shansha. So you're actually saying it probably correctly.
Well, I mean, that's debatable, but I'm doing my best.
Well, I guarantee it's probably very grating to hear my attempts at it for someone who really knows the language. All right, that's super cool. I wanted to point out here, we have a bunch of people that are talking about reading the book currently and loving it. And Paul is saying, like, so Paul's on here, says Daniel Wisniewski is such a great narrator. And Sergio must be listening because he's like, ooh, the narrator's doing a great job. So lots of love coming your way for this. And for everyone out there, I do hope that as you read through this and you realize how great it is, that you go in and leave a 5-star review. Because, you know, this is one of those series that just absolutely deserves it. Speaking of people that have read the book previously, I think the last time that I looked on Royal Road, you had well over 5 million views on Royal Road. Like,
I'm not sure because had to delete. Let's see. Right now it's at 6.8. I think at one point it was at 8 point something.
mm-hmm.
But you got to delete the old chapters for Kindle
Right.
Unlimited. I lost all those views.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say that, because but like you're saying, even with that whole first book being down, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing 6.8 million total views coming in on the chapters that you still have up. That's amazing, man. Like, I really love how dedicated you have been to this series, with it being, it's even just out on Royal Road and for free and doing all this other stuff. For people that have read this a while back, like the first book, Would you say that there's been fairly significant changes in the first books, or like in what they're going to be able to get as they come to Amazon Row Road? Will they have a better experience, do you think?
Well, what I've tried to do, anybody who's read it, anybody who's up to date, you do not have to go back. Nothing plot-wise has changed. But there are 3 new chapters and about 20,000 new words, which is generally 10 chapters worth of words.
Yes.
All that's added, and just fleshing everything out, making it smoother, making it everything make more sense. Like I went through all the comments, and anytime I felt there was a burr, like just something wasn't working, smoothed it out, tried to make it a more enjoyable experience.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely, I noticed a much more crisp feeling to the book. Like it was just polished from like 4.8 up to that 5-star for those reviews. Yeah. If you know what I'm saying, guys, that 5-star review. It really came through, like how, as you came back and you were like, okay, well, I really know where this is going, because we're like way out here. And so just being able to like clarify, just getting that clarity and that transparency, while also kind of integrating more, making more granular, was fantastic. Just absolutely spot on, man. So yeah, I like that a lot. And I think the narrator has absolutely loved reading this one, because it's just been clear and smooth to read. So that's absolutely lovely. Now, would you say that with each individual book that it ends at a nice spot, or would you say that it's going to end in such a way that is really going to pull them into the next book? And I'm not even saying like cliffhanger style, like massive cliffs. I'm saying like, does it end in clean blocks, or will it be a story that is really well connected, like between things, and you really just want to keep going?
Well, like let's say Wander Again. Love Wander Again.
Sure.
But one thing I have a small problem with is, like, you read the individual books on Kindle Unlimited and you only get like a part of the story. And that's true with all the streaming stuff. So I approached it, each book to me is standalone. You can read book 1, you finish book 1, it'll be satisfying. But I also wanted, okay, what's next? So it's like, to me, I'm trying to achieve the best of both worlds. You have a complete story that you feel has a satisfying ending and you're done. But what's next? Because each time he dies, you want to go on to the next. Well, what's he going to spend his money on? What's he going to do this on? So, like, again, you have these deaths, but you want that next chapter. Even though the death ends the life, you want that next chapter.
And how big would you say each chapter is on average, word wise?
Well, the goal is 2,000 words,
okay.
Which I think translates to 10 minutes or so.
Sure.
The goal was 2,000, but I added 10. Since the original version on Royal Road was 120,000 words, now it's 160,000 for book 1, and only 3 new chapters. So a lot of those have expanded to double, maybe even a little more than double their original size.
Very cool, man. Last question. We got about 15 seconds here. If a reader sticks with your series from start to finish, what is the ultimate experience you think they're going to be rewarded with?
They'll hopefully get to know what it's like to be a cultivator.
That's really cool, man, because that's something that I know that I would love to do. All right. Our grand prize winner is Matt Watson. All right. And also, don't worry, guys. I have all of the names here. So it shows us this. It shows us every name from top all the way down to number 1,000. So, I almost clicked out of it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and copy those real quick. If you see multiple names in a row, it's because they commented or they followed instructions correctly. And we gave people who got the duck and commented on the post to have it a second entry. But it does not look like there was anyone. Yeah, there was no duplicates in the first 10. So that was really cool. Thank you all for that. Greg, it is so nice to meet you. It's so nice for everyone to meet you. It's so nice to introduce you to everyone. And for everyone that is here and everyone that does see this going forward, please go and check out the Undying Immortal system. It is awesome. You will not leave disappointed. And by Greg's own words, by the end of the series, you're going to be able to feel you're going to have the experience of being a cultivator from the lowest low to the highest high. All right, everyone. That'll do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everyone who popped in and said hi and was a part of this. And we will see you next time. Bye. Go read that book.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone.